My grandfather used to always say, better than having talent is to have the ability to recognize talent. And that reminds me about a story that I like to title Now versus Next. There was a king named Saul, and he had a son named Jonathan. His son, by lineage, would become the next king. What ended up happening is a decree came down that Saul and his lineage were disqualified from the kingdom, and that there would be a new king named David. Now, David and Saul's son were best friends because David was the captain of Saul's army, after all. And Saul was jealous, but David had forged a friendship with Saul's son named Jonathan. And Jonathan did something that was remarkable that I really want you to take account of, because there's a bigger message here. Jonathan, knowing the decree that came down, went to David, his best friend, and he took off his cloak, he took off his sword, and he took off his shield and gave it to David. I'm no longer next, you are. That was powerful, because you have to understand, at the time of this story, every item meant something. The sword was the fighting instrument, and the shield was the family crest. It was the symbol, if you will. It's the protection. The sword and the shield are protection, and then the cloak. Much like a doctor wears a jacket, and the judge wears a robe, and the police officer wears a uniform, and the fireman, and etc., etc. The outfit meant something. And what Jonathan was saying was, as long as you got my sword, my shield, and my cloak, no one can hurt me. Because I may no longer be next, but I'm with the one who is. And that's a really powerful story, because the light was no longer on Jonathan to shine, but the light was on his friend, and he aligned with that person. Better than having talent is the ability to recognize talent. Jonathan knew he was no longer next, so he found the one who was. See, I desire to have partnerships with people, and not to use them, not to take advantage of the light that's on them, but to share the light. And when the light's no longer on me, when I'm in a position where I'm not the smartest guy in the room, when I'm in a position where I don't have the knowledge, and someone else in my circle does, I'm going to shine with them when the light's on them. And I have no problem doing that, because I understand the difference between now and next.